it's Micah. Welcome to our number one of the year reaction series, formerly known as a Tuesday reaction series. I still plan on releasing these on Tuesday, but this way I don't have a time stamp on anything, and if I'm late, I'm not late, and you're going to listen to it or watch this video whenever you watch it, so the day is a little bit irrelevant. I'm not doing this live, so I'm trying to get away from the days of the week. After that over explanation, let me tell you what I'm doing. I'm going through the number one songs of each calendar year, year by year. I'm working my way up towards the present on Tuesdays while working my way backwards from the present on Mondays. We started off last December at 1946, the very first year that I have on record as there being a Billboard number one song of the year, and we've made it all the way up to, believe it or not, 1972. And the number one song of that year was Roberta Flack's The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face. Roberta Flack was a monster of a hit maker around this time. I think it was a year later that she came out with what's probably a better known song today, Killing Me Softly with his song, which largely has become popular because of the 90s remake by the Fugees. But this is no slouch either, and it was actually the number one song of the entire year. I just learned that this was not an original song for her. In pulling up the video, I saw some of the write-up around it, and it said that this was actually a song from the 1950s. And so this is a cover on her part. She so fully owned this song that I always just kind of thought it was her. I will also say that I'm not sure that I've heard this song start to finish. I've definitely heard Killing Me Softly with his song, even her version. I've heard that one start to finish. I don't know that I've ever heard this one all the way through, so this is going to be a good listen. Let's get into it. This is Roberta Flack.
First time ever I saw your face, I thought the sun rose in your and the moon and the stars were the gifts you gave to the dark and the endless sky. First time ever I kissed your mouth, I felt the earth move in my like the trembling heart of a captive bird that was there at my command, my love. First time ever I lay with so close to mine, and I knew our joy would fill the earth and last till the end of time, my love. The first time ever I saw your face, your face, your face, your face.
How am I supposed to react to that? I mean, I realize I queued this song up myself, so I did this to myself. Could have just skipped 1972, right? Like, what am I supposed to say about that? That was perfection. And I'm pretty sure I have not heard that song all the way through. It seems like an experience that I would have remembered. I am honestly in awe that a song this minimalist and with this little going on, which is what minimalist means, of course, was the number one song of the entire year. I guarantee you that it probably could not have been the number one song of 2024 or 2023, because this song requires patience to like really hone in on the lyrical message, hone in on the musical payoff that comes from sitting through the 4 minutes of it, because there is so little going on here. But it's at the same time, though, it's very entrancing. It really draws you in. And if you're in the right state of mind and you're thinking of someone who did this to you, whatever happened to cause the person who originally wrote this song, if you can key into that same feeling, if you're really thinking of a particular person, or you can tap into that feeling while you're listening to this song, then it does captivate you, even more. It really gives you that sense of comfort. It's almost a womb-like kind of state of comfort that the song conveys. It's quite extraordinary. That's a really beautiful, simple song, and like the three verses, I don't even know if you would call those verses, because the song is so linear. The first section about seeing someone for the first time, then kissing them for the first time, and then laying with them for the first time, which I'm like, for a song that came out in the early 70s, maybe not that big of a deal. But if it came out originally in the 50s, I'm wondering if that was like, because that has a particular meaning. It's obviously very restrained and not at all like erotic, but it also does kind of come out and say more than you would expect a song to perhaps say, like a pop record to say, in the 1950s. But again, I don't know the extent of its release in the 1950s or what have you. But the lyrical structure of the song is so simple, and it's very slow and deliberate, and it says so much with so few words. I mean, you could almost write all of the lyrics to this song in a greeting card, and not to trivialize them, and it would come across as a not overly long greeting card. It would be, if someone had come up with these exact words for a greeting card, they would probably have won the greeting card lottery because this is the most simple and profound sentiment that I could possibly think that you could compose in the English language. Um, and of course, the vocal performance here, Roberta Flack is just magnificent. She's such a great vocalist. I don't I'm not necessarily a fan of hers, and by that I don't mean I don't like her. I mean I just don't know more than 4 or 5 songs from her. But every song that I've sat down and listened to that she's sung, I'm just so impressed with her mastery of phrasing and nuance and emotion. The song for me that I've heard from her the most was one that came out when actively came out and was a hit when I was at the time I was listening to it, which was the song Oasis. Um, and that song was just gorgeous. I loved and looked forward to hearing that song when it came on. Uh, I was trying to think of a way to describe her voice. I think smoky is one adjective that comes to mind. Otherwise, there's a purity about her voice, and this may sound a little bit weird, but I kind of think of her, and I'm trying to put together pieces from a vocalist other vocalists that I know about. It's almost like she's a cross between, granted, anachronisms, and like we're talking about people who came later, but her voice is kind of a cross between let me think about this. Nina Simone and Whitney Houston. Like if you just put those two in a blender, you would come up with the way that Roberta Flack's voice sounds. She has the clarity and melodic sensibilities of Whitney Houston, and she has the smokiness and restraint and simple emotional depth that I ascribe to Nina Simone. I am a Whitney Houston fan and have listened to most of her music. I'm not a huge Nina Simone fan, and I may be off base as to what she brings to the table vocally, but to me that's sort of in the ballpark of what I'm getting from Roberta Flack's voice. You can eviscerate me in the comments as you will. I'm just trying to get a point of connection to sort of understand how she does what she does to make the song sound so special. That's a brilliant, 10s across the board for that. That is just a gorgeous song. Wow. A couple weeks ago, we listened to Bridge Over Troubled Waters. There's some really great music happening in the early 70s. I'm really happy to revisit these songs because the 70s is the one decade that I probably just sort of brush off more so than any other decade in popular music, and maybe I just need to dig a little deeper. But we'll continue to dig next week. We'll get into 1973 and the number one song of that year next week. Until then, if you liked this video, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you feel so inclined. And most of all, make music better.